Hey, this is part 7 of the Symphony of the Night 80% tutorial, and you wouldn't be in this save room normally. You would be coming back from Minotaur Werewolf over here after getting the mist. Once you have the mist, you come back here and hit that switch, jump over the thing. You don't need to jump over the night shield, but you need to jump over the little barrier, obviously, to get through here quicker. We're going to be learning a few tricks, like glitchy stuff right here, so make sure to pay attention. First, we're going here to Allrock's quarters from the backside. Well, this is kind of in the way, right? Well, we can do a little trick, and this will require having the shield rod on. You can actually do it with a heart refresh or anything that pauses the game while keeping the screen active. So the reason we do a shield rod spell is because the heart refresh we need to save for later, and right now it's not expendable for this run. So anyway, I don't know, I guess, exactly how every part of this works. They just coded the doors in the chapel really badly. In fact, in the PlayStation version, the original one, if you had the sword card and were in the chapel, you could cast Sword Brothers and actually just like walk through the doors and just fall out of bounds, just like instantly. So they did fix that for the XBLA version, but in either version, you don't have the sword card yet. That's what we're actually going to get. So you can do a similar little trick, though, to get out of bounds and then over to there. Now, there's a slow way to do this and a fast way to do this. The premise, though, you need to backdash and cast the shield rod spell at the same time. Shield rod spell is, both buttons at once, shield and the shield rod button at once. You may have cast it in the last section, escaping from the shield rod room. So what happens is this, and now it's flickering, and we have a couple options here. You can, just back. These are like the guaranteed ways to get through. You can just, it's going at a really slow frame rate right now. You can just backdash and then push the shield button maybe like once every second between each button. It'll end up getting you here. Kind of fast, but it can be faster. You don't need the flicker to really stay there at all. This is thanks to Aricado for telling me this, and actually someone in the chat for bringing it up in the first place, so I would end up asking Aricado. This is the part where I don't really understand any of like how it works. I'm guessing like when you're skipping over the trigger and you like do the backdash input at the same time as you're changing directions, it's reading you as moving forward but also hitting the trigger again. For like a room transition, I don't know. It's really weird, but once you do this, and by the way, if you're having trouble figuring out like how to backdash and cast the shield rod spell like so fast, like here's what you need to do. First of all, you notice I keep going in this room, and then you just tap left, right? You're right on the edge of the door. But when you backdash, you're like flying over here really fast. Well, to react like fast enough for me with the casting the shield rod spell, what I do is I put 2 of my fingers from my left hand on the shield rod and the shield button, and put my right thumb on the dash button. Satoriu in the live tutorial said he'd do this the same way. I'm not sure. I guess you could kind of do it with one hand. Kind of awkward though, so I recommend 2 hands. It doesn't need to be like frame perfect, but it should feel frame perfect. You just backdash and then, well, apparently I don't have the shield rod equipped because I totally forgot, so I was just punching air there, but, yeah, so just immediately, do the shield rod spell after you backdash. Should feel pretty close to frame perfect, even though it's not. Now, when you do this, you've stopped yourself. Before it even like starts flickering at all, what you can do is push backdash again, and at the same exact time, change direction, like hold right. And make sure you hold right. Don't like tap right. You can, it shouldn't be frame perfect for this either, but again, it should feel frame perfect, like really close. Yeah, so like that. You just get in right over here immediately when you do that. There are some ways to screw us up, of course. Like if you were going in the slow way and you were in the flicker and then you jumped at the wrong spot, you can actually fall out of bounds and then down to the bottom. If you don't hold forward when you're doing the quick way, and by the way, that's just the way you should do it. It's just like the easiest by far. Easiest on the eyes and easiest on the timer because it's like immediately getting you over there. But regardless of what you do there, you should just make sure to, you know, backdash and change direction, hold forward. If you're not holding forward, I'm going to show you what happens if you're not holding forward. I keep forgetting to, I should just equip the shield rod on the save now. Okay, so that's me apparently casting the thing before I backdash. That's nice. There we go. So, backdash and change direction, but don't hold it, and you're like down here. You can kind of reset it up there, but it's really weird the position the game is in when you do this. The game's kind of confused at this point of where you actually are on the screen. Like, look what happens if I walk left here. So, I mean, you can do some funny stuff. If you're on the PlayStation and you keep going left here, you're actually going to end up in this area, but it's going to be like corrupted graphics and everything, and it's just going to be all messed up. On the XBLA version, though, all the areas are pretty much like preloaded, so corruption glitches are stuff you can't really do on the XBLA version, unfortunately. That's a PSX exclusive. But enough about that. So, I mean, I overkilled this a lot, but and I wish I could explain exactly how it works to you, but just know that you do this, and then you change direction, backdash, and hold forward, you're going to end up over here. So that's to get us over here. Now, our next task is to get the sword card, which is up there. Now, I like to use this, we're going to use a technique called the wolf rise, and it's going to be through chaining the wolf and mist. Okay, so first I'm going to use this candle eventually for another jump kick like we did to get into Alrock's quarters from the clock room. So I face away from the candle when I'm hitting this with the shield rod so I don't accidentally break it. Once you have that hole up there, okay, so what we're going to be doing, if you chain the mist and the wolf fast enough, you're going to not waste any MP doing it. Like, okay, you see, the mist takes tons of MP when you, like, activate it, right? But when you saw the wolf mist chain going there, no MP's going down. That's what we're ultimately looking at, to rise up. And then at the end of that, we're going to use the mist for horizontal movement. You see I can move a little bit horizontal upward there? Just hold up and right, and you're going to end up getting to where you need to go. Now, the timing for this, how do I explain this? You're just going to kind of find it for yourself. It's pretty easy, but the problem you're going to run into at first is probably activating mist a lot too early. What you want to do is when you jump up with the wolf, the mist button to the wolf button should be like immediate. But when you're going from wolf to mist, it doesn't need to be immediate. So like that part should be immediate, but back to the mist doesn't necessarily need to be, because you want the wolf to rise a little bit. So what you're looking at is you see that I'm letting the wolf rise a little bit before I go back to the mist, but the mist to the wolf needs to be like instant, so just keep both fingers ready for that. If you end up failing it a bunch, you can try and get the MP refill glitch off that heart down here to try and like refill your MP again. The way the MP refill glitch works, I'm not really going to be able to show it off really unless it just happens to come up in the run because it's luck based, basically. You notice the MP bars refilling. They refill on specific frames, and if you happen to pause the game with like a shield rod spell or a heart refresh or getting a level up or getting like a heart container or a max life up, yeah, whatever, you know what I mean. If you happen to do that on the same frame that the MP bar is refilling, it extends the refill for the entire pause of the screen, and so you basically get full MP out of it most of the time. But that's only if you fail this a bunch. What's really gonna screw you up here is the screen transition. Like, I'll just show you how you're gonna like mess up on the screen transition. Like, that's gonna happen right there a lot, because it like resets your inputs once you get into that screen transition. In order to fight against this and make this easier, well, I turn into the wolf at the top of that. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so after like, if you get at the very height of the jump when you transform to wolf off the candle, it takes on the third rise. Let the rise go fully. It will go past the screen transition. Then you can do the wolf mist chain again. If you end up a little under, you might need to do 3 transformations, but yeah, see there? And then when you're about there, you can do the mist up and right, and that will let you get to the sword card easier. It's just a pretty simple technique, not a whole lot more to go over than what I've said so far. I think I covered most of the problems you might run into with it. It's just learning the timing, that's all it is. Once you got it down once, you're probably not going to fail it a whole lot. I had some trouble with it at first, but once I had it down, like, it's pretty consistent now. So once you get the sword card, you're going to want to actually put it on. And then use your library card. You put it on now just to cut down going to the menu a second time. Once you're in the library, when you walk past that door there, you're going to activate the shop menu, right? You're going to skip the cutscene from the shop, then activate the shop menu. Now, what we're going to do, you can also walk in and activate the cutscene and then exit out of the shop menu and do the spell in there, but what we're going to do is trick the game by making it think we're still in like this normal gameplay area out here, even though we're in the shop menu. And the way we're going to do that is the Sword Brothers spell, for some reason, allows this to happen. It just has a very long spell animation, and the game kind of gets confused and thinks, oh, this spell is going on, so you must be in the normal area. The way you cast Sword Brothers is you do down and then a half circle up and hold up. It needs to be at least a second that you're holding it, much like Tetris Spirit. It can be forever though if you want. And then you go down attack. Yeah, so that spell happens. You need at least 30 MP to cast this. There may be some situations if you accidentally like went into a mist in the middle of the wolf rise that you may have a little less than that, but that's okay. You just wait a little bit, you'll have this, enough to cast Sword Brothers. So when you cast Sword Brothers from out here, let's see if I can do it. I might not have gotten there. Yeah, I didn't get the right input. So there, after I cast Sword Brothers here, wow, I'm bad at this apparently. There we go. So skip the cutscene, go in here, go to Sell Gem. Make sure you're on this screen. After that little flash happens, you heard that little crash of the spell going off, you can actually pause and pull up the menu here. And, again, the game thinks we're like in the normal gameplay area. That's why it allows this to happen. And, like, you know on the, I'm just gonna go back real quick. You know on the buy item menu how you can use the triggers to go really quick? Well, if you push left trigger this time, instead of going back like up a slot, it's going to actually pull up the map because it thinks we're in the normal gameplay spot. So, pretty weird, but alright. So what you're gonna do, you have that garnet to sell, right? But you go to the shop menu, or not shop menu, you go to the equip menu first. Go down and equip it. Make sure you're on the sell gem screen when you're doing this. Not before then. It has to be on this screen. So then it still says you have the one to sell. Well, when you sell it, you just sold it from 0, even though it says you sold 1. So now we have an overflow glitch where, you notice if I go back here, I have 255 of these. It obviously has a byte in the code somewhere dedicated to the value of this, and so it goes from 00 to FF, which is 255 in hex, and now that's how many you have to sell. So when you go back here, just keep ramping it up. You need about 500, a little more than 530,000 for everything we're gonna buy. So yeah, when you get there, just that's enough right there. I get an elixir when I'm doing this. Just, you know, you don't have to, especially if you're doing like a serious recorded run, but I get an elixir just in case, just full HP heal in case I run into something, because stuff in the second castle can still really hurt you. Get a mana prism, infinite mana, really gonna help. Okay, go 2 right triggers down, and then down 2 you get Buffalo Star. Get 2 of them. That's what we're going to use as our main throwing weapon. The Flame Star does have a little more attack, but you see it has 10 more attack. Might help in an in-game timer run, but since Dracula is resistant to fire, it's better to make sure you have Buffalo Stars on. Because it's really going to make a marginal difference between every boss up to him. But on him, it's like a huge difference. Get a library card. It's going to be for right after you get the bat roll, just to get out of here quicker. Then after that, I think 3 triggers down. Yeah, 3 triggers down, then a couple down. Get a gauntlet. It's going to raise your attack a little bit for the Buffalo Stars. And get the duplicator. That's the main thing right there. You need the duplicator. So, once you have all the stuff, on the XBLA version, you can keep the sword relic going. It doesn't really matter. It may screw you over and slow you down by killing some stuff and giving you an extra level. But just keep in mind, the strength of your strength at this point doesn't matter. After Minotaur Werewolf, it's pointless because when you have the gauntlet on and then the Buffalo Stars, like the attack of them is so high that it's just not going to matter what your strength is. It's not really going to affect it that much. So, because you're going to be spamming these non-stop. These were weapons designed to be used like just a few times during a playthrough and be like a really big attack that you can get. But when you're spamming them non-stop, it's practically as good as having a cursing ring. So, this is the setup you have for most of the rest of the game. You want to have a Buffalo Star on one hand and the Mana Prism on the other. Buffalo Star should be on your shield dashing hand because, well, that's where you're going to be using the shield dash. Right, I said on XBLA version, the sword relic can stay on, but when you're on the PlayStation version, it actually lags the game a bit, so you definitely want to turn it off on there. And it doesn't really hurt to take it off in XBLA either. So yeah, you notice a little sword and shield dashing, but if you're doing a real-time run or a race with someone, this is better than having a shield on. In-game timer might want to put a shield on, might make a couple seconds difference over the rest of the run, maybe not. So, and also be wary when you use the mana prism. On the PlayStation version, it lags the game to use potion items, so just might want to be kind of careful about where you're using it. Don't try and use it in areas with lots of enemies. That's definitely going to lag it more. Or right after killing a boss, don't do it, because that's going to lag it a lot. Alright, so we have our next sequence break. We're trying to get from down here to up here without the double jump or the bat or anything. It's going to be pretty simple. I'll do it a few times here. Turn into a wolf. Remember the slope jump. Make sure, again, you're holding forward when you're jumping, and you have tons of room to make this jump. So, a good visual indicator is like that little pillar right here, a little after that pillar, like right here or so, is when you want to do the jump. And obviously those books won't activate yet. And actually, if you miss the jump still, you're going to have those books lining up in a way that you can actually use a jump kick off them as a backup. But so what we're doing is we're doing the jump, then chaining to mist when you turn left and go towards that platform. Basically, when you're making contact with the platform, hold left and up with the mist, and that's how you're getting up there. I'll do it again. Pretty simple though. Yeah. If you miss it though, like that, again, the books are usually going to line up in a way that just happens to be convenient for a jump kick. If you fail all of that though, suppose you just really, wow, like I did that, what was that? Go here, transform, untransform, boom. Damage boost. There's like 3 ways you have to get up here pretty consistently then, right? One of those ways is going to work most of the time. So either way, oh, don't get poisoned by the way. That's actually going to hurt. But we're at the save, so I'll just go to the save. I won't take the damage boost this time, because well, I don't know how much damage you take when you're poisoned. But yeah, be careful of that guy. You could Buffalo Star him when you get up there just to be safe. Like that. Super safe. So yeah. You can use this save to heal, or heal your MP without having to use a mana prism or go to the menu. I'm going to actually save here, just so we can split up the tutorial a bit. But yeah, I think I went over everything that you really need to know up to this point. I mean, I didn't explain exactly why I have 2 Buffalo Stars. In an in-game timer run, it's definitely better to switch to 2 Buffalo Stars on every boss, but in a real-time run, keeping 1 on for everything but the last boss fight stretch with Chap and Dracula is better, but you definitely want to have 2 on for them. So yeah, next is going to be mostly going over bat techniques, because we are getting the bat very soon, and there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with the bat. So also we'll go up to the Richter skip, not covering the Richter skip yet, but up to where it is on the next video.